Yeah, Joe, thanks. This is Roland in Studio B, where live sessions are made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. And man, we got a gigantic birthday cake here in the room. How many candles are on that cake? I can count 100.
103.
103. Awesome. It is Django Reinhardt's the 103rd anniversary of his birth. And I have 5 gentlemen in the room. We're going to play a little bit of that music today, huh?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
The big show tonight, the 4th annual?
4th annual Django Reinhardt's birthday party in Asheville at the Gray Eagle. It's just a celebration of Django Reinhardt, his music and his life, and it's just a collection of some of the best musicians you'll hear. 7 fantastic bands, bigger and better than ever this year, and hey, we're just aiming to have a real good time and play some great music and hang out and just have a party for Django.
And so we've got today in the room is kind of cherry picking out of the bands that are going to be playing tonight. So members of what, 3 of the bands?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zach over here is playing with all 7, I think.
Exactly. If you can play the bass, you're in demand. Something like that.
Yeah. Music will definitely be started by 7:30, and going to be playing about 30-minute sets each, and so we can get out of there before next week. But there will be music all night. It's going to be a good time. There will be room for sitting, room for dancing, all sorts of, it's going to be a blast.
Let's start off by just maybe going around the room and introduce yourselves or each other or however you want to do it, and maybe what bands you're playing with tonight. Start with John.
Okay, well, I'll start off. My name's John Corbin, and I'll be playing with John Henry's jazz band tonight.
Hi, Evan Price. I'm playing violin, and I am just a kind of a wayfaring gypsy here in town. I happen to be passing through the state on a bus tour. A little shout out to the New Century Chamber Orchestra that I'm actually playing hooky from the tour bus on for today, just to celebrate Django's birthday. But they're on their way from Greenville, South Carolina to Greenville, North Carolina. And I guess I'm playing with one leg up, and I don't know, I might be playing some guitar later. We'll see.
So you're out of San Francisco.
Yeah, I live in San Francisco. I play with the Hot Club of San Francisco
Right
as my regular gig, and just kind of sniffed this in the wind. And
I was going to say,
"Hey,
how'd you
can I
hear
come?"
about this whole? How'd you hear about this?
Well, my parents live in the area. They live in Hendersonville, and they said, hey, John Corbin, you should get in touch with him if you're in town. So here I am.
Sweet, very nice.
Yeah.
My name's Leo Johnson. I'll be playing with my new group, King Leo and his New Hot Rhythm, which will be featuring Kevin Kerberg on the upright bass, Lindsey Pruitt on the violin,
Yeah.
and of course Mr. John Corbin on the guitar here.
All right.
Doing gypsy jazz originals and some trying to incorporate some of the classical sound like they did back in the 30s. Trying to bring that around, and tonight's going to be a really big show for us. Really, I'm pretty excited, man.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Django will listen like his Stravinsky and stuff like that.
Yeah. All those little classical motifs.
Yeah.
Getting incorporated
WC,
into the
for sure.
Yeah, and getting swung. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and there's gonna be some swinging tonight too. So.
Oh man, it's going to be really hot.
Cool. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, my name is Steve Carla, and I'm in the Hot Point Trio, which is Lindsey Pruitt and Trevor Stoya. And yeah, it's kind of cool because we're working it out as a trio, which Django didn't do.
Right.
I mean, he had 3 guitar players or 2 guitar players sometimes. So it's kind of a interesting sound, and it's great to work with the trio because it leaves a lot of room for us to interact and do a lot of communicating, kind of with our musical notes and everything. So I'm super psyched. We got some original tune and some hot minor tunes, some obscure gypsy jazz tunes. So I think it's going to be great, and all the other bands are going to be great too. It's top musicians in the town, and I'm so excited and honored to be a part of it, and that John extended out the invite. So
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So when I saw that there was going to be a trio, I wondered about that because all the rhythm guitar. What are you going to do? Suddenly.
Yeah, well, I mean the bass and Trevor Stoya and Lindsey Pruitt are both phenomenal players. So they have some tricks up their sleeves. Trevor doesn't play his bass like normal bass players, and it's nice. He gets a rhythmic quality out of it, and that's not really suited to the gypsy sound, but I think it really makes sense, and we end up pulling it off real well. So
nice.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, sounds neat. We got.
I'm Zach Page, and I play bass in One Leg Up, and along with Mike Guzalak, John Steinman, Jim Tanner. Unfortunately, our violinist is out, Steve Trisman, but we've got, as Evan mentioned, we've got him who's going to sit in with us, and my brother Andy is coming down from Boone. He's going to play with us. And Andy and I will both also be playing with Billy Cardine, which is another group. And Billy is a phenomenal dobro player.
Right.
It's kind of a interesting take on the Django style. And we've also got Billy Constable joining us
Oh,
on
okay.
guitar
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that group.
Very nice. Wow, just incredible talent up there in Nashville tonight. So
Hey, it's a party at the Gray Eagle for Django Reinhardt. That's that's about the extent of it.
let's okay. Maybe there's someone out there listening who doesn't really. You've heard the name of this guy, and it seems to me there's two things that make Django Reinhardt fascinating. One is his music, which continues to speak to us, and the brilliance of his music. The other thing is just that cult of personality, that strange gypsy way he just bowled through life. And
Yeah.
let's talk. Anyone talk either of those things if you want. Why
I
Django
remember
Reinhardt?
hearing a story that's always stuck with me about Django. I read it probably in like a CD cover or something for one of his CDs, but it was just how he would, he'd like amass all this money from some gig that, he'd tell them, oh, I won't come out and play unless it's like this, so, this amount or
Exorbitant
whatever.
fee, yeah.
Yeah, and then like I remember hearing this story that he bought this car and just like drove it till it was out of gas and then just like, left
That was
it.
the only
Yeah.
story I knew. Yeah.
Is that? I took your
Thanks,
story.
man.
Yeah.
Maybe I heard it from you, Leo.
Oh, maybe
I just-
so.
That was actually your gig last weekend.
Yeah.
Right. But no, he was a real interesting guy and came from a real interesting place. He was real gypsy and lived a real primitive lifestyle. He was born in 1910, so he came up through really, the First World War in Europe, and living in a caravan, in a mule-driven caravan, with no electricity. He couldn't read or write, and a tragedy in his life was when his caravan caught fire, and so did he. And he was burned to the point that the doctors wanted to amputate his leg at least, but more important to him, his fretting hand got burned and deformed and paralyzed. So he really only had the full use of two fingers on his fretting hand, which as a guitar player, just that would make 99 out of 100 of us just quit the guitar. But he came up with a whole new style, and it made him sound like him. And I think that's one of the reasons that his sound is so recognizable, because he was forced to come up with something different to adapt to playing with only two fingers there. And also, he was so early in the development of jazz, there really wasn't a lot of other jazz guitar players for him to listen to. He was listening to like Louis Armstrong and stuff for inspiration, he really captured the whole expressiveness thing that Louis was going for. Django, I don't know if there's ever been a more expressive musician.
So melodic, but also
Yeah.
so intense when it
Yeah.
wanted to be, and
Sure.
so
Yeah,
far
yeah.
out.
Absolutely.
Soulful and virtuosic at the same time.
Soulful,
Yeah.
there you go.
And
Kind
it
of the
just,
hallmarks
was
of the
just
style.
effortless.
Yeah.
He was just carefree while he was playing.
Absolutely.
Really amazing.
You hear stories about like in the middle of a recording session, and he'd take a break and he'd wander off in the fields and not come back. Like
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
days later, he'd
Or
come
just
back.
go fishing.
Yeah.
Just not show up at all.
Yeah.
There's some records that were cut without him, just under a different name. That was, it was scheduled. Everybody was supposed to be the whole quintet, and then Django, just no Django.
Right.
So they recorded under the name Stefan Grappelli on his Hot 4, which is just everybody else in the band, and it just kind of helped create the name of Stefan Grappelli as a jazz entity.
Yeah. and we should point out, 2 days from now is Stefan's birthday, right? It's January
that could
23rd.
be.
Yeah.
That could be, yeah.
They almost had the same birthday, which would have been.
That's right.
I'm sure that was a good party.
Yeah, a 3-day party. Why not? Yeah. John, next year, okay? We'll do that.
You got it.
Yeah,
You
that's
got
right.
it.
2 days later, you got to do the Stefan Grappelli birthday party.
Right.
That would
He
be-
would be 105 this year.
is that right? They were a year apart.
2 years apart.
2 years apart. Yeah. Okay. We've got 5 people. Actually, we're getting ready to switch over to banjo, which is cool. But Django started off.
Band guitar.
Yeah, banjo guitar. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and that's where he started, right?
That's right. That's right. That was his first.
Well, we can. I was just going to mention, that to me, what defines it is that guitar rhythm. Do you guys know when he was sort of coming up with this music? Did they not have a drummer, or did they just go, we want this to be the percussion on the guitar strings?
Well,
kind of?
drums were a relatively new. The whole drum set idea was a relatively new American invention, and being itinerant gypsies, you can't necessarily. It's not as easy to take a drum set with you, if that had filtered its way into their culture yet. But everybody for centuries, in their culture probably had already, figured out the guitar and the violin. Those were like sort of the key
Yeah.
gypsy instruments. So Django grew up, learning the guitar and the violin. He was a good violinist as a teenager, and then he picked up this 6-string banjo that Leo's about to play, not the actual banjo, but that instrument, and got gigs starting when he was 12, 13 years old.
Right.
Accompanying musette accordion players in Paris, and he didn't even have a case for it. He would wrap it in newspaper and carry it through the mud to his gig.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, and then we went on to that sound that defines it with the 3 guitars, you know,
Right.
and the rhythm, and those
Right,
incredibly
so-
intricate rhythms. And
Right, and that
Yeah,
rhythm style came right out of the it was sort of this melding of the musette style with that danceable rhythm and that was European and with a little bit of swing added, from his influence listening to American musicians.
so the musette would have been the music he was listening to in the caravan. You sit around at night and
Well, it was the popular dance music, of the early 20th century in Paris. It was that sort
okay.
of Breton thing, a lot of waltzes and two-steps.
what was there like an ethnic music of the gypsies that was filtered into that? Do you know?
There are many ethnic musics of the gypsies, depending on the tribe, and they're just such wonderful mimics, and they're so resourceful that they culturally have learned over the centuries to just pick up whatever's around them and serve it back to you, sell it back to you, and just be the entertainers available. Yeah, I play that tune, I play that style, I'll do it. So musette was what was the paying gig at the time, and Django mastered it.
Was Louis Armstrong the first jazz musician he heard? Is that where he caught the bug?
That's
I
what
don't think
well,
so.
the first real American jazz musicians. There was like this, Jack Hilton, I think his name, big band from England over there. But the story I heard was a record collector over there or jazz aficionado in Paris met him and Django's brother in a cafe and said, "Hey, come up to my place. You got to hear this music." And I played him some of the Louis Armstrong Hot Fives and stuff, and
He was
Django
sold
was
for
just
life, right?
nuts about it.
Isn't there a quote like he said, "That's my brother" when he heard him play or
Yes,
something like
that's
that?
what I heard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fun stories. The banjo-tar.
The banjo or
banjo-
Gitanjo, depending on where you're from.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a Gatan hang,
It-
I think.
Are there recordings with Django playing that instrument? We need to get some music, but are there recordings?
There are, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe there are. I don't know if I've heard any, but
Yeah.
I've been told there are.
Leo Johnson on the banjo-tar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Carla's on guitar, also John Corbin over there on that archtop guitar, Zach Page on bass, and all the way from San Francisco, Evan Price playing fiddle today.
Yeah.
Everyone smiles, honey. Y'all know you're all smiling while you're playing this music.
Well, it's just so much fun.
It
I
is.
mean, how can you not?
But what is it? Why does this music still work? It's 70 people, generations have come and gone, and we're still grooving on this. What is it?
It's
Well-
just good.
Yeah.
I think he said it. He said it right
unique and good, and it appeals to a lot of people, especially around Asheville or
Yeah.
this area. There's a kind of a natural extension of the bluegrass crowd. All,
Right.
all the
String music, yeah.
all the all the pickers love the stuff, and jazzers do too. And it's just
Right.
it's just beautiful music. The guy made beautiful music, and stuff like that lasts for a long time.
A friend of mine was telling me once, he's like, music is harmony, rhythm, and melody.
Yeah.
And like no one did it more elegantly or with more sophistication, but so simply,
That's right. Yeah, I always think there's such a visceral element to this music. It just feels good. It's danceable. Makes you just groove. And then there's the intellectual side of it too. I mean, there's the genius part that we're all trying to chase, of course. But the cleverness aspect of it too. And there's the soul. There's the harmony and the just the soulness of it, and soulfulness.
Yeah.
It's the whole package.
Dance. Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
dance music.
Sure.
Well,
You got it.
that's right.
Leo said earlier, it's going to swing no matter what, right?
That's right. Rock and roll doesn't swing anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4 on the floor, and people wanna tap their feet. People wanna dance.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's groovy.
Yeah. Well, all that stuff's going to be going down tonight at the Grey Eagle in Asheville beginning at 7:30ish.
It'll definitely be started by
Definitely.
7:30, if not earlier.
Who's on first? Do you know? Do y'all flipping coins? Or?
No, Viper's Dream is going to be
Viper's
playing
Dream.
first.
Here's the whole. Give us all. I don't know if you gave the whole lineup yet. Do
Okay,
you know who all?
well, we've got let me see, Viper's Dream, their local band. They're going to have Steve Davidowski playing horns with them tonight. That's going to be fantastic. Hot Point Trio with Steve Carla. Let's see, One Leg Up. They're kind of our host band, and they're going to have Zach's brother Andy playing guitar with them, who is kind of known as the pickinest picker at the picnic. He's a heck of a guitar player. And we've got King Leo's new hot rhythm. We've got Thomas Michael, who is an incredible guitar player who's come all the way from Kentucky to play. We've got Bill Cardine, the great dobro player, is going to be playing with the Page Brothers, and John Henry's jazz band, which is my band, and then I think that's all the bands, and then there's going to be a whole lot of just jamming.
Oh, the big jam.
There's
Yeah.
going to be
Jam.
at some
Yeah.
point there'll be more than a few people.
Oh yeah, usually there's about 30 guitars on stage by midnight. So good times.
So this is what the fourth annual of these. Right?
Fourth annual.
Fourth
yeah,
annual.
yeah. You
Bigger
know,
and better every year.
Well, you know, we started it for his 100th birthday, and we were all just floored by how much interest there was in it. We thought it'd be a couple of our musician buddies coming out, and lo and behold, it sold out, and there was 400 and some people there. So we're like, oh, well, I guess we got to keep this going, and it's just too much fun. You know, it's just too much fun. We all have a blast and kind of just enjoy celebrating Django's life and hanging out and picking together and eating and drinking and dancing.
Again, this is Zach Page, Leo Johnson, Steve Carla, John Corbin, and Evan Price. They're all playing as part of the 7-band Django Reinhardt birthday party tonight at the Gray Eagle up in Asheville. You guys, it sounded great today. Thanks.
Hey, thanks,
Thanks,
Roland.
Roland.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I
Just
think
to
this means y'all have to come back just about a year from today, right?
You got it. You got it.
Be here.
You got it. All right. Well, happy birthday, Django.
Absolutely. Live Studio B sessions on WNCW are made possible by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. Again, thanks to these guys, all the Django fans, for coming. We're going to go cut up that birthday cake, and we're going to listen to some Muddy Waters on the way.